Yo, how y'all doing? It's October 2nd, 2021. Um, just got some things on my mind that I would just definitely like to address and share with y'all. Um, oh, well, please allow me to introduce myself for some of you who don't know me, and please allow me to reintroduce myself for those of you who do. My name is Dragon Lee, the one and only Dragon Lee. So, I would like to address the whole scenario when it comes down to people when they talk about religion and why they can't deal with religion. It's the most hilarious things of the excuses they come up with. And you know the excuses. Like, for example, why they don't believe in God. For when it comes to some folks out here, because it's a white man's God. Most ignorant thing ever. The next thing is the Bible. They can't follow the Bible because man wrote the Bible. So these like the two things that is the most hilarious things. So, my message to a lot of you, I'm just gonna be all blunt, ignorant asses in the world. And you are ignorant because you don't take time out to look at things for yourself. You're very mediocre. You're a mediocre follower. And the problem is you listen to other hateful people. Now, and what I mean by hateful people, that doesn't mean I'm just pointing out directly at one, because many people and all forms of people are hateful. It doesn't matter on the color of your skin, white, black, brown, red, whatever. You're just a hater, and you're just basically a discriminator and a prejudiced individual. So, and one thing that all man shares in common is that they all want to be dominant. They all want to be superior. And you see it from all sides where people will color wash it just to fit their narratives or feel superior. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. So we need to stop that bullshit. Now, I'm going to get back to what I was saying. I love it when people say that it's a white man's God, right? First of all, I think it's safe to say nobody's seen God, to say that God is any form of color. 9 out of 10, every time you hear the description of God, it's always in some form of spiritual, fiery form, of the soul, spirit, and etc., etc. Now, I'm no expert in the religion thing, so let me just throw that out there too. I'm only going to go by from my perspective, okay? So let me say that. A lot of people will talk about particular things and try to pass it off like it's truth, it's facts, it's this, it's that. I'm telling you from my perspective. So before some of y'all want to start losing your mind and acting a fool. So I like to say this is that if God is a white man's God, and if you ever read the Bible, you do realize that majority of the Bible is different nations, and most of those nations are different people of color. So I will say that. So with that also to be said, I would also like to mention that yes, and Romans is like probably the only like white folks you see in there. I could be wrong, there could be others, but majority of the Bible is usually in different nations of people of different nations of color. Just to put that out there, and so people need to really stop that, and that's for real. So I don't understand why when people say it's a white man's God, but God created all of us. So it's all of our God. White man, black man, brown man, red man, any other form of man that you can think of, including the woman and the children, the elderly, and etc., etc., including over the animals. And what if God is a kangaroo? Are you all going to be hating him because he's a kangaroo and not a human being? I'm just saying. But it's just basically to say like that sounded stupid the same way how you all sound stupid when it comes to arguing over God's ethnicity. he has a race. He's a god. He's not a human being. And thank God for that, because obviously if he was like us, well, anyway. So I want to get into the other part about how it's man's religion. Man's religion, like the Bible, and man wrote the book. So a lot of you have your excuses at the fact that you can't follow God because, I mean, you can't follow the Bible, pardon me, or any other form of religious book at that matter, because it's God's, it's made by man. So if the Bible was written by man, right? The Bible was written by man, and that's your rational explanation why you cannot use the Bible. Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna go with you. Fair enough. So I just want to say this. You know, God made the hats that the hats that you wear, okay, the clothes that you wear, your footwear on your feet that you wear, the house or apartment that you live in, the home in general which you live in, the car or vehicle that you drive, or public transportation, depending where you at, that you take, technology, including what I'm recording on right now, technology, phones, you have video games, computers, etc., etc., etc. So the most hilarious thing, oh, and let's not forget food, okay, or how the food is processed. So all of these particular things are created by man as well. And since we're going to be so prejudiced about, since man create the Bible, why you can't deal with the Bible, well, guess what? Man created the hat that's on your head, the clothes that's on your body. Man created the shoes on your feet, the technology that you're using, the car that you drive, the home that you live in. God, man also created almost everything that you have out here. And yet not one of you are discriminating or prejudiced against these items. Because if we're going to go by because what man created, why you can't do it, then most of you hypocritical, biased motherfuckers should be homeless, running around butt naked, starving, using no form of technology, because man created that as well. And yet you still use it. And for some of you biased, hypocritical motherfuckers, man also created drugs that you use, the alcohol you drink, and the cigarettes that you smoke. And yet you use these things. But when it comes to God and the Bible, for some weird reason, you don't know how to use it because man made it. But everything else man made, for some reason, you're able to use those things. See, the problem is that you don't want to have discipline. You don't want to have structure. This is what you're allergic to. You know, the things, the principles of what a real man and a real woman is all about is having structure, discipline, living by moral codes, living by principles. This is why most of you are failing. Know why the world you live in is failing. Because you push away God, you push away his way, and you want to do as you wilt. Doing as you wilt is the devil's plan, a Satanist plan. And evil never gives anything good in return. Evil never keeps its promises. And yet you turn to the dark side. Like if this shit was Star Wars, y'all turn to the dark side very easily. You cannot complain why the world we live in today is the way it is. Because you made the decisions to make it this way. Some of you also like to use another thing to, well, if there's a God, how come God allows bad things to happen? Well, I'll answer that for you. It's just a little common sense. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I will answer this the best way that I can. Well, God gave us the power of choice. So the real question is, why do we allow these things to happen? Stop blaming God for everything. It's the blame game. And you all do it. One way or another, you all do it. You have men who will blame their woman. You would have the women who will blame their men. You would have the men or the women blame their children. The children blames the parents. The parents blames the community. The community blames the system. The system points their fingers to the government. The government blames us, the citizens. So it all goes back together. When all else fails, we blame God. Oh man, listen. God gave us the power of choice. We have the right and the choice to do good and to do bad. It's easy to fall to the dark side. It's hard to follow a path of light. And that's our problem. And all jokes aside, a world without God is hell. I think we've been seeing it. Do you think all these things that's happening around the world is coincidence? When you turn to doing bad things in this world, such as same-sex relations, which is an occultist behavior and a tool and weapon that was used during the times of slavery. Okay, now it's in doctrine camps, what you would call a public school or the schools. These are tools that attacks the human soul. It taints your soul and makes you darken. Man and woman are the yin and yang. We are the complete opposite, but we are necessary of two pieces of a puzzle that creates the perfect picture of the circle of life. Now, you have the feminist, radical feminist movement, let me rephrase that, who are just man-hating dykes. And they want to kill innocent babies. Now, what kills me is you call it abortion, but the real terminology is murder, death, kill, evil. And you know the funny part is that's part of the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not kill. And yet, y'all break it every day. And you defend the wicked in prison. Like, you will defend the fact that people on a death sentence will not get a death sentence. You protect the wicked. You protect those who have done evil things, such as murder, rape, pedophilia, drugs, gang, you name it, you defend them. And yet, you take the life of an unborn baby who never asked to be created because two horny people decided to get together and get their groove on and get knocked up every chance they get, because it becomes a convenience to the people who have unprotected sex. It's unplanned. Hello. You do realize when you have sex, unprotected sex, that creates babies. So don't say it's unplanned when you had unprotected sex when you knew what was going to happen. Okay? You have other means before abortions. Some of you will knock me for this as well, but I don't really care personally. Evil always talking shit. So it's about time somebody needs to start talking some real legit shit that is going to be good. You got people all over the world killing each other, hurting each other, performing in pedophilia, having sex with children, with minors. You have grown-ass people performing statutory rape, raping the innocence of children, kids. Even if you're a teenager, you're a kid too. Yes, you are. And if you want to argue with that, Go get a car. Go buy a home. Okay? Make these decisions beforehand. Because if you're not of a certain age, you're not 21, don't give me that shit. Okay? The world that we live in, we will take an 18-year-old and put them in the military and train them to be a hardcore killer. We'll take an 18-year-old and put them in pornography and turn them out to be hoes. So they're old enough for these things, but they're not old enough for other things in life, which makes me laugh. For example, like you have to be 21 years of age to buy alcohol or buy cigarettes. I'm not condoning it, but I'm just saying it's just funny how you got to be 21 to buy cigarettes and buy alcohol, but you could be 18 to be a professional hoe or a professional killer. So you would think after blowing somebody the fuck up or blowing someone in general, might want to have a drink or a cigarette, but you can't do it until you have to wait to 21. But you can be a professional fucker or a professional killer. So we live in a satanic world. We live in a fucked up world. The world is evil. Only we can change these things. We have the power of choice. It's up to you. It's up to all of us to start making the right decisions. We got to stop the snowflake shit. We got to stop lying to ourselves. Where we've been lying to and we've been deceiving and we're feeding it, we're eating it up. And this is the problem. We're living a lie. The devil doesn't make good promises and keeps them. And if he does keep them, it's not the way you want it. Don't ever forget that. So, and no, I'm not a religious freak. So for some of you who want to say that, but I am a person who believes in God and God's natural order and not this new age bullshit, this new age satanic order. There's no such thing as traditional. There only is the natural order of things. So, if you like this, don't like it, that's up to you. But I will say, all I'm doing is speaking the truth. And that's the problem with this time period. Everyone respects the truth. Everyone respects honesty. Everybody respects real, up until the part when you're real to them and when you're honest to them and when you speak the truth. Then they hate you for it. They say the truth will set you free, but the truth will get your ass hated, especially in a world that's a lie and deceiving. Anyway, I just want to say to all my brothers and sisters out there, regardless of your skin color and whoever what you are, start changing the way you think. Find your way with God. Make your connection with God. And if you're saying that you don't believe in God, then at least get your ass away from the devil. And if you don't believe in the devil, well, guess what? Whether you believe in God or the devil or not, good and evil do exist. And evil sure as hell exists. We're living in this world. So, just want to make that very clear to all of y'all. And once again, you know what I'm saying? Love y'all, doubt. May God bless you. May God bless our children. May God bless our women. May God bless our brothers and sisters out here. Okay, and all of that. So, I just want to say, have a blessed one. And may God bless you all. Peace and love. One.